What'd you say?
I don't know, but
what'd you say that?
I'd fuck Will.
Today is Friday the what?
Oh, y'all be
Friday
wild.
12th.
the 12th. Yes.
May 12th.
Today's May
Right before
12th.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Friday.
2 days after Mexican Mother's Day.
2 days after Mexican Mother's Day.
Mikey
2 days
was the Mexican
before
mother.
American Mother's Day.
This is a good question. Which one do you celebrate?
I
To be honest.
I feel like I have to celebrate both. I don't know about you guys, but I give my mother flowers on Mexican Mother's Day. But I still feel like I'm going to have to come here Sunday
Yeah.
and give her some flowers again.
I mean, obviously for me, I celebrate Mother's Day, but for my kids, so their mother is Mexican, so I feel like I have to also celebrate Mexican Mother's Day for her. So it's a little bit so I kind of both, but like it's a weird place of like, I'm not buying the gift. It's the gift from the kids for her kind of.
Yeah, like fuck the mother.
I mean, already did that. That's why we have 2 kids. That's why we're here.
True.
Yeah, just confirming. I was just confirming.
So you do believe in buying gifts through your kids?
I mean, it's a weird place, to be honest with you. Like, I don't want to seem like a dick and be like, hey, no, go fuck yourself. I'm not going to buy you shit.
I mean,
It's not my problem. But at the same time, it's like, well, I want to make sure. So, like, obviously, my kids being in school, now they're making gifts.
True.
So they both made a gift. So I'm like, okay, you're good. We have 2 gifts for your mom. We're good, and we're good. That was my thing. So I feel like we're good for that. But if they didn't, like, if Mikey didn't have anything, then maybe I would take him to the store and let him get something. Especially because his brother made a gift. If my one son gives a gift to his mom, but the other one doesn't, then the other one's gonna be all sad. Like, I didn't have anything, So I kind of have to. But
What do you get your mom, Will?
What do I get my mom?
Yeah.
I mean,
what'd you get her this year?
Where you gonna get her? Yeah. I need some notes.
What's a good Mother's Day gift?
Well, what I've gotten her in the past is like cooking wear and type stuff, because that's what she wanted.
Oh, you get her gifts like that? Those are birthday gifts.
Yeah, I've gotten her
cooking wear, like aprons,
Birthday gifts.
No, I've
bro.
gotten her
Gifts, though?
I felt that's a birthday gift.
oven mitts.
I got
That's
her
a
like
gift for
knives.
yourself and shit
I
almost,
think
you know?
it was
Yeah.
Give her
last
some
year
better
or the
cooking
year
stuff
before
so she
that.
could cook better.
He's gotten her the toxic masculine gift for women. That's what he's gotten her.
What?
Stuff for the kitchen. He said, "Bitch, make me a sandwich."
He just said.
It was
He
in her
just
wish
said.
list.
He just said. I get her knives and stuff like that.
Me and my brothers
Hey,
also
but
bought
hold
her
up,
a fridge.
hold up.
Yeah,
One
Gaspar,
year-
they got a fridge.
Yeah, we bought her a fridge.
Hey, but some. Hey, hold up, but some.
We
isn't it
bought her a
helpful,
fridge
though?
so she can hold our snacks in
Wouldn't
it.
it be helpful though?
For
Like,
Christmas, I also bought her a Switch. So
Yeah.
That was
about
my
that?
Switch. I
A
feel like
Nintendo?
that Switch is in your room right now. Where's the Switch at exactly?
it's in her room.
Don't lie to me.
How many times
Actually,
you go
it's in
inside her
her
room and play that
office.
shit?
I don't
got
play
her
it
a
at all.
Switch?
I play my dad.
You're white. I forgot. You guys got offices, patios.
Patio.
It's her own home office.
Rich people out here got offices.
I mean, we're not rich.
My
so-
office is in a basement. Does that count?
Well off.
It was actually my brother's old room. Then he moved out, and she turned it into the office because of the whole COVID
See,
pandemic.
I mean, that's just
Well off.
benefits of being, the youngest child is, our parents moved into a house with enough room for 75 kids. 74 have moved out. Now I have 74 extra rooms,
Yeah, because normally I just get my mom like some roses and then some chocolates. But obviously I eat some of the chocolates.
I used to.
I don't
get
know
her
what
family-
That's only
happened.
fair.
I don't know what happened, Mom. I swear I bought this box and it was full. I
I'd be
don't know
like,
why
they
it's half
were
empty.
good. I bought some good ones.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
You guys can see right here. I got my mother some. I don't even know what color that is. That's like pink and.
They're like roses are dying.
This is
bro.
like
They
pink
look
and
they're
purple.
dying, bro.
Nah, that's like.
How long
dying
ago did you
roses,
buy
bro.
those?
I bought those on
you
Mexican Mother's Day.
did you get those off the side of the road?
You're bogus.
I'm just kidding.
Side
These
of
are
the side of the freeway.
He actually grew them himself.
Yeah.
I got
Are those some oranges behind you too, bro? Did I see?
You're bogus. And yes, they're oranges.
he picked the flowers right behind the
What a
orange stand.
coincidence.
Yes, they're oranges, but that's not where I bought my
I
mother.
feel you. Where do you
Her
go?
flowers.
Where do you go?
I think most of us And yo, if I'm cheap as shit for this, everybody might hang me for this, but I go to Jewel, bro. I go to Jewel Osco.
Jewel has good flowers.
Jewel for flower purchases for me. Jewel is decent. Jewel, they're not overly crazy priced. I've bought a decent bouquet of flowers with the
They
whole.
got good.
what's-
They got
what's
like,
the-
they normally got like good like decent sales, like, especially like during Mother's Day. But just in general, like if you ever go in there just for a random occasion just to buy flowers, Jewel does have like they literally have like sections. They're like, hey, you're broke and need some flowers because you fucked something up. We got something for $5 for you.
Yes.
Like Jewel knows. They're like, hey, what'd you do wrong? We got you.
what is it called when you get the
The bouquet?
not the bouquet but
The
the
vase?
yes, the vase and the whole thing.
The vase.
I don't even know what that would be called.
Ooh.
The boss.
The vase.
Yes.
What a beautiful vase.
Well, you know, I've bought the vase elsewhere,
Le vase.
and we're talking about, you know, Jewel, $25, $35. We're talking about, I guess,
$100?
a flower shop. Yes, $100 plus.
yeah, I mean,
Could be
dude.
125.
If you let's be honest, if you're comparing like a legit like flower shop compared to like Jewel, I honestly don't see that much of a difference in some of the like you can get some really nice fucking flowers from Jewel. I mean, if you go like let's be honest, if I go Sunday morning for Mother's Day to buy my mom flowers, you're gonna be fucking dog shit flowers out there. That's what you get for the last minute though.
That's true. That's true. That's how I felt the other day, buying on the 10th of May. You know,
Yeah, they
that's
know.
how I felt. That's exactly how I felt.
They get all
I
the
saw
flowers
it.
out there
I
May
saw
9th
it.
and May 10th.
Everybody
or May
in
9th, May
half.
11th.
But that's the one thing about flower shops. You can choose to pick it up on Sunday so it'll last longer.
Very true. That's obviously, yes, that's the benefit to going to the flower shops. You go to the flower shops, it might be a little bit more pricier, but you know you're going to get some nice, good, fresh flowers that are going to last longer, and you can pick them up, like
Same
he was
day.
saying, on the day of whatever event it is.
What kind of
Yeah.
chocolates do you guys get them?
Fannie Mae, Thin Mints. Or
Thin
not
Mints? You
Mint.
call the Girl Scouts and
It's
shit?
it's
What
not
are you
Thin Mints. It's what is
the,
that?
the like
minty one?
mint
Mint melt away.
meltaways?
Yeah, mint melt away.
See, my mom likes the dark chocolate with the little raspberry. I don't know what the fuck it's called, to be honest, but this year she's getting some Amazon gift cards.
Nice.
Lateral move from the flowers. I like it.
Hey, you know, flowers are expensive, and I would have been something I should have, as I was saying, bought, you know, not last minute. But we Gucci. Y'all like jerking each other off over there? What's going on?
Kinda.
I mean, I'm not mad. If anything, I'm just a little jealous.
Will keeps touching my leg. I don't know what he's doing.
I didn't touch your leg once.
He keeps putting his hand in your pocket for no reason.
I'm getting nervous.
Is he holding your pocket?
I'm getting nervous, guys.
My hand's in my own pocket, so
Well, you can touch my leg.
can't. There's a thing in between.
No, but how about you? You
What'd
would
you get your
say,
mom?
what do you get your mother for Mother's Day?
I mean, I got her some flowers, but what I was trying to ask earlier, or what do you guys think? You know how he got? What did you get your mom again, Will, for Mother's Day?
This year,
Well, you know what we
Before?
were talking about. Yeah,
like
Like some
cookware,
cookware. Yeah.
fridge one time.
Like,
Shit to
is
make
that-
him a
is that-
sa-
is
With
that-
me
is
and my
that
brothers.
good, though, in a way.
Whatever
Like,
he
you know,
can to make
flowers
her a
count,
sandwich.
But, for example,
To be honest,
Yeah.
mothers just care about your time being with them. That's
Yeah.
all they really care about.
yeah, but like, look, check
So
it
should
out.
we not get them nothing?
Check it
You
out.
can get them whatever you want.
I
They'd
don't know.
appreciate it either way.
I don't know if it was for Mother's Day or for her birthday or for Christmas. I don't know, but in one occasion, I did give her a gift that was a what they say, like to mop a mop.
You gave her a
Gave
mop.
her a mop.
Yeah, a mop, but the one where it's got the bucket and it's got that spinner thing.
Oh
and you
yeah,
put-
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So,
The one like he's
because
got.
she always, when I would see her mop, she would always
Most
take it to
people
the
have
tub,
that by now.
and she would like squeeze the water and then rinse
Mm-hmm.
it and then squeeze the water again with the mop. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in that case, would that be a good gift because it makes her job easier?
Yeah, I mean anything that really makes your mom's life easier would be a good gift too.
Let me.
She enjoyed it, right? She gave like a gesture of like, oh, thank you so much or something like that,
I mean, yeah.
then yeah,
Or give
then
your
she
mom-
enjoyed
Any
it.
gift.
Well,
It all depends on how your mom is, because some moms would like, better cleaning supplies or whatever.
Yeah.
Some would like better cooking, or some just enjoy going out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it
mean,
all depends on your mom.
I mean, look, I was over here making fun of myself for getting my mom an Amazon gift card, but at the end of the day, you know what mom does 90% of the time?
Amazon shops.
She sits at the house and she reads books. And she buys those books from Amazon, like the Amazon Kindle app, and just fucking reading books on her phone or her iPad. So legit buying her like $100 gift card to Amazon, that's like what, fucking 8 books maybe? I don't know.
If it's Kindle books, yes, because Kindle books are actually a lot less expensive.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're probably
I've seen Kindle books that are $25, but you buy them on the Kindle and they're like fucking $3.
right. I was thinking probably like each book's probably maybe $15 to $20. Especially if she's buying it on the Kindle app, it's probably closer to like 15 or something like that. I'm like, even at $50 still, it's a decent something gift. So just like you're saying like that. Like at the end of the day, we're gonna give each other shit. I'm gonna give Will shit for getting his mom fucking gifts so that he can tell his mom to make him a better sandwich.
We
But,
do that
yo,
all the time, by the way.
Mom, the meatloaf. That's Will's life.
That is, she makes excellent meatloaf.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
best meatloaf ever. Good shit. But for real,
Oh.
like it's like the Peloton commercials. Like obviously all those people that were like giving Peloton shit because the wife in the video looked unhappy that her husband got her a Peloton for Christmas. But at the end of the day, like there's plenty of like I could have gotten that for my ex and she would have been fucking ecstatic on Christmas.
What's Peloton?
Peloton is like that little like stationary bike thing.
Yeah.
It's like $2,000 fucking
It's got an
dollars.
app and everything too.
Dude, the shit is
We're
expensive.
talking about like a
Like
literal.
the trainer bike.
It's an exercise bike, and it's
Okay.
like $2,000. And if you actually use it, you actually need a subscription. Like you pay a monthly subscription or some shit.
You can't just pedal on it.
I don't think you
without-
can actually because there's like you can just pedal it, but there's no resistance or anything behind
Without
it.
the
There's no
subscription?
video. I believe I don't quote me on it.
Can
I
you
don't-
rent it then,
I don't
or lease it?
rent the Peloton.
Yeah, or
Low
lease it?
key, I think I just saw something the other day. I think they just recently started like you can like rent a Peloton for like a monthly fee. However, I don't know how fucking much they're gonna charge you for like to hold that for the subscription and the bike.
What would be a bad gift?
What would be a bad gift? I mean, I guess it would depend on the person. If you had somebody that's like you're giving them an exercise bike, trying to be like, hey. I love you, but you need to lose some weight.
we
That's a
like
bad
you, you
gift.
like, I know you're comfortable with your skin, but here's an exercise bike. No, I'm talking about like for your mom.
For my
What would
mom,
be a bad gift for your mother? What's your mom's name?
Yeah, like if you
Name
give her
drop
soap
right now. Shout out to-
shout out
Give
my
her
mom.
soap.
like if you give her soap,
no.
like,
No, that was a good question because it's like a perfume or like let's say,
I mean,
would
we
that
do
be
get our mom
technically a
soap,
bad
like
gift?
shampoos
Honestly,
and,
I don't
My
even-
yeah, I think that'd be a good gift.
I-
Like
yeah.
shampoos and shit. Like
Yeah.
yo, my mom is on that. Like
I
she's
mean,
trying to grow back her hair.
shout out my mom.
She ain't bald enough
My
yet.
mom has like dreads and shit. So honestly, if like there was some special shampoo for fucking her hair, if I bought her, that probably wouldn't be a bad gift. Perfume probably also wouldn't be a bad gift for her. Does she wear it often? No, but would she be like? At the end of the day, I think if I buy anything for my mom, I think if all I could afford was a card, and I brought a card to my mom, I think she would be grateful. I mean, like that's the thing about like at the end of the day, as a parent, my son fucking picks up anything and he's like, "Hey, I got this for you." I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for this rock."
I mean, like fuck off.
See, you say that now, but if your son actually brings you something, like, I'm like, "Hey, I remember 5 hours ago when you told me how you fucking hated me and I was the worst person in life, but now you're bringing me a rock and this really means a lot to me. This means you love me again." You know?
You will save that rock.
You save that rock.
Dude, that
Okay.
fucking rock goes into a frame 20 years from now. I'm like, you told me you love me.
you gotta have some sympathy for your
Fuck
boy,
these kids.
man.
Fuck these kids.
You say that now. See, you say that now, but until you have them.
What'd you give your mom this year?
I usually give her flowers and chocolates.
Give her a high five.
But like you
Good
said,
shit,
like
Mom.
you said, like
Thanks for being nutted in.
hi cinco, mama. Yeah, but like Gaspar said, it's like you usually have. I usually have to do it both Mother's Days. You know, I was like, all right, you got to pick one, Mom. She's like, oh, the Mexican one. I was like, all right, but then the let's say the American one comes up, and she's just like right there, like, yo, you got to give me something here too. The
You
fuck is
didn't
wrong
do
with you,
anything
kid?
for me?
Yeah,
Hey,
basically.
Jesse,
Yeah.
how do you do both for with your daughter, like for her mom? Are you celebrating both with your girl? Do you celebrate like Mexican Mother's Day and regular Mother's Day, or do you just do one over the other? Because obviously,
I think
with
Do
with
they
you,
have to be born in Mexico so to be legitimate?
I mean, I just kind of mix it up.
I see.
It's whatever.
Obviously, my kids are white as fuck. They're only 50% Mexican. They look white as shit. But for me, I mean, I don't know. It's very important. Like, I want them to have as much of their Hispanic heritage as possible. Like, that's very important for me. And honestly, it's funny because I feel like sometimes it's more important for me than it is for their mother.
How's their Spanish doing?
Mikey,
No muy bueno.
I mean, he knows some Spanish. Like it's not like he knows obviously less Spanish than me, which isn't saying much because I don't know fucking dog shit. I know dog shit Spanish.
You know, queso.
No queso fresco. Ay, papi.
As long as they can order in the Mexican shop, I think you should
Right.
be good.
I'm sure you
Get
can
some
get.
cheese.
I'm sure you can get by with the Spanish that you know, though.
I mean, I guess it depends on the place, but like in general, like for me, my biggest thing is like I continue to I want her side of the family to only speak Spanish to the kids because that's the best way for them to that is the best way for them to learn. And then for me and my side of the family, obviously we don't know Spanish, so we're only going to speak English, and then they will learn both languages. You know, it's important for me because I want them to know both languages. I want them to be at parties with my family and be able to communicate with my family. I want them to be at parties with her family and communicate with her family. You know, I feel like that's something that in this country a lot of people lose is their heritage, and I don't want them to lose any type of heritage.
Bro,
I don't have any heritage as a white person. My grandfather, 100% Italian. I know nothing about Italy. I know no heritage. I don't want them to lose anything that they have.
Have you ever been to Italy?
Never left the country. That's what I'm saying, you know? Like my grandfather, 100% Italian, did not pass down anything.
Do you want to go to Italy? Would you
I mean,
want to go?
Maybe
you
when I
could.
was like, if I was, I think it's not about wanting to go to Italy. I think I would have liked my grandfather to have more Italian to him and pass more down through his family. You know, especially
more of your
especially with
heritage.
him and his brother being the only ones. They were the 100% Italian. You know, to pass that down. We're gonna lose that Italian somewhere, but still try to pass it down as far as you can. You know, because you are only your ancestors. So if there's any type of heritage that your family has, I feel like that's why I think family is important in passing that shit down, pass anything that you have down, so that way your ancestors and your children and your children's children they can always remember you or your family in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think since I kind of like learned Spanish technically first, like whenever if I do ever have kids, I would want them to learn Spanish first because obviously in schools there's only like a certain grade where they want you to be speaking just English and you start learning just in
Yeah,
English.
when I went to school, I only went to Spanish or bilingual up until like second grade.
Yeah, same here. Second grade and third grade it was all English. Miss Wingelnick, I love you.
So I mean, my Spanish, besides at home, I guess is a second grade level. You know,
Yeah.
when it comes to writing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like because my mom doesn't speak any English, and my dad understands English and he speaks it well. He has an accent, but he speaks it well.
That's exactly how my
Yeah,
family is.
but anything I ask him, I could ask my dad like in English. He'll reply to me in Spanish. So it's always Spanish where I'm from, or in my household, I should say.
No.
Did the same with you? Did you learn
This
Spanish
dude-
first?
This
I'll-
dude was
yeah.
going to have him and his ex were going to have his kid learn Mandarin as well.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember this. You
They're
remember
gonna,
more
they're
than
gonna
I
learn,
do.
they're gonna learn
remember
Mandarin.
that?
That's gonna be
Yeah.
hot
They were
lava.
gonna have-
That's
yeah.
hot lava right
He
there.
remembers
I like
more
it.
than I do.
like it.
Because
Were you his ex?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I think you said it like it was you. Sorry, we had a little bit of a mishap, but we're back. All right, we're talking about Mandarin.
All right, so we just go again. Him and his ex were talking about Mandarin, or his kid learned Mandarin as well as Spanish and English. But apparently he doesn't remember it.
I don't remember anything.
I think I would want my kids to know more than two languages, but
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mandarin would be a good one to learn as well.
Oh, 100%. See, if my kids both knew Spanish and English very well, and then when they get to school, they can learn a third language that would actually be beneficial. Obviously, I feel like Mandarin would be a very good one for business wise. 100% Mandarin would be. I mean, especially if you knew English, Spanish, and Mandarin, I feel like that would be very beneficial. Like my company alone, we have several people that reach out to us that only speak Spanish. And you know how we respond to them? Because we only have one salesperson that speaks Spanish. We use fucking Google Translate because nobody knows Spanish.
Oh, that's legit though. I've translated documents. I would put it like in Google Translate, and I would read through it, and usually it's almost flawless. Maybe a few words here and there, but that's usually very good.
The hardest part though is like when they respond to me in Spanish and I put it into Google Translate because they're a lot of the words that they're using are more, I guess, would be considered a little bit more slangish. And Google Translate is very formal, and 9 times out of 10, I feel like Google Translate is using like Spain Spanish versus like Mexico or South America.
Okay.
So it's some words might actually be maybe a little bit different, like barely whatever.
Like
But
they'll say something like, "Oh, yeah, miro tu cosa está bien padre," and they'll translate, "Oh yeah, I see your stuff. It looks very father."
yeah, so like
Even though
there's
it's like-
there's some times where I'm translating stuff and it comes back very literal, but like I can still kind of understand what they're saying. So like I try, like sometimes I'll use Google Translate and I'll send it to people that know Spanish and I'll be like, hey, does this sound right before I respond? But I have learned because there's one person I should definitely not trust when it comes to like, hey, is this proper Spanish to respond to my client? Or hey, I'm trying to say this to my client. How would I say this? Because I have a friend who told me to go tell one of my clients, hey, do you want to fuck on this day? And his name is
Oh, that was
my
me.
friend Yogi.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah,
That was
this
funny.
guy almost got me
That
fired.
was funny.
He almost got me fired. If
I
he,
made your day. Say,
I
take
asked,
that back. I made your day.
I asked him a question, and in his response, he gave me the answer. That his answer was like, "Hey, do you want to fuck on the March 14th or some shit like that?" But what I was trying to tell my client was, "Hey, your package will be delivered on March 14th."
It's the same thing, kind of, right? I'm delivering this
So-
package to you on the 14th, girl.
It's a package.
Not wrong. He's not wrong. A package was being delivered, but it was a different package. But because when I had asked him the question, his response had a question at the end of it. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would I be asking her a question? This is a statement. So I took it, put it in Google Translate, and I was like, wow, can't even trust my friends. They're over here trying to get me fired. My friends are trying to get me
Trying to
fired.
spice up your life sometimes. I apologize that I never do it.
I mean,
again.
who
I didn't know
knows?
you were gonna act like this. I wasn't
Maybe
gonna do it. I wouldn't have
maybe
done
I
it.
have this, maybe I have this Hispanic female from Puerto Rico emailing me like titty pics. Who knows?
That would have
Maybe
been yeah, you would have known how your life would have changed.
every single person in this podcast would have seen those titty pics. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, it didn't
Shout
happen.
out to Mikey because that's a real person right there.
Yeah.
Hey, but he got you on speed dial to fucking translate, and you
No, he
got
just
his
randomly texted me, and I texted him. How fast was that I text you?
It was like legit. It was too fast. I think that was the other reason why I questioned it. There was like maybe 3 reasons why I questioned it. One, I was like, that was a real fast response. Two, why does this have a question mark? It should be a statement. Three, this is Yogi. I should probably double check that he's not trying to get me, fired real quick.
Or laid
And I was right. He was trying to get me fired.
and laid.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Jesse,
Yes.
Yes,
what'd you get your mother?
How fat is your
Right
dick?
here, some flowers.
You got her some flowers. The
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get her flowers?
What color?
Here's the thing though, I don't know what a good gift is for her.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you know your mother?
She do-
You-
I do like.
I
What's
find
she
it
like?
I find it a little bit harder to get something
Yeah.
from my dad.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
agree.
Like, what do they want? Carhartt?
Well,
There's only
she-
so much
okay,
Carhartt.
So
There's
yeah,
only so much
you know,
Carhartt I
she,
can
she
get 'em.
doesn't wear like marca or something like that, and I mean I know her style, but it's like maybe because I only recognize modern styles, I can't really pinpoint
Let's get a
like
little-
what she would like.
He's a-
Like I would rather give her money to go buy herself some clothes than to buy them clothes, myself, because I wouldn't know what to get her.
a little Louis V
And
bag.
then she doesn't wear jewelry like that.
Okay.
She doesn't wear makeup like that,
Mm.
And I mean, I don't know. So
Honestly,
it's kind of hard.
that's like I said. That's like I'm in the same boat. Like with my mom, me and my siblings are all kind of like in the same thing. It's like, what do we get her? It's she has children that are all old enough to take care of themselves now. So she's not taking care of her own kids anymore. So what does she do? When she needs something, she buys it. So it's like, okay, let's get her something that she needs. Well, what does she need? Everything she needs, she's already bought. So like it's hard because what kind of clothes am I going to buy my mom? What kind of clothes does she buy? She buys clothes that she finds on like Facebook that she sees that are cool shirts that she likes.
The advertisements.
The random
Oh, my
advertisements on
goodness,
Facebook.
My mom started to do the same thing, bro. She's like, "Mira, Eri, está bien bonito este."
Am I the only oldest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the oldest guy, but I'm not the oldest child.
I'm the baby. Will's the baby.
Yep.
I'm the baby.
We got 3 babies over here.
And you're the second oldest.
I'm
Middle
the second
child.
oldest. Yeah, it's my sister and then me and.
And
then
you
two
you were the mess up child. You were the one that they're like, that's
You
gonna
were
be
you were the
good
test
stuff.
child. You were the one
the
they're
test
like,
child, but I
eh.
feel maybe they spend the most money on you. Is that correct?
Probably.
You were the one
They
that
spent
ruined.
more money
I
on your
figured that
brother,
out.
didn't they not?
The
Nope.
oldest.
Don't think about the shoes right now, bro. I
The
know you're bringing
oldest
up
is the one
Jonathan's
that
shoes.
the oldest is the one that ruins it for everybody else though. The oldest is the one
That's
they
correct.
did something along the way and then their parents are just from then on they're like, okay, well now nobody can do this. I'm like, well, that's not fucking fair to me.
That's not a fact for me.
Well, that was a fact for me. Shit, I couldn't fucking do shit. That's not true. Actually, I feel like it got to the point where my parents were just like, hey, you never leave the house. Can you just please leave? We will give you money to leave.
Your parents did that?
My parents like,
Trying to fuck.
dude, they honest.
Because
Honestly, probably. My mom and dad were just like, "Can you just please get out of the house?" Like, we're trying to fucking do it, dude.
How
And-
old were you?
I mean, I was like in middle school. I was in middle school. My parents kind of like sat us all down. We had a big, family discussion and talk. And I don't remember everything that was talked about for everybody else, but for me, my mom and dad were like talking about like, you never do anything with friends. You never go outside. You never like, why don't you like invite friends to a movie and like do something? We'll give you money. We'll pay for it. Like whatever you want. Like we'll just go do something with your friend. Like whatever you want to do.
They
Like,
said
They were encouraging me to try to like invite people to go hang out. Plot twist. I did that. I was like, fine. You know what? I'll do it. I'll invite friends to a movie. So I invited a bunch of friends to go see a movie. Like it was a brand new movie that was coming out. Again, mind you, we were in like middle school, maybe 6th, 7th grade. Well, I went to go see this movie, Happy Feet, with the little penguins.
correct.
I was the only fucking person that showed up.
That's poor
Fuck
planning
it.
by you, I think.
It was not poor planning by me. I invited like a shit ton of people. I mean, by
let's go
shit.
see a kids movie in middle school, and they're like, nah.
I didn't
No,
get invited.
it was funny because I wasn't even the one that picked out Happy Feet. There was like 10 people I was talking to. We were all talking about it. Everyone, they're like, yeah, let's go see Happy Feet.
Or
I'm
was
like,
this AOL? Where you guys talking at?
this was like at school,
Oh, person to person.
in person.
Man, throwback.
In person, and then probably like talking like on AOL Instant Messenger back in the day, throwbacks.
I didn't get invited.
It ain't Thursday, but it's Throwback Thursday. But no, like I invited these people, and like nobody showed up, and I'm like, okay, cool. My parents were forcing me to get out of the house to go hang out with friends. I invite people out, and I'm by myself. Guess I'm gonna just start taking my parents.
Was this 6th,
Money
7th,
and
or
just-
8th grade?
It's like I want to say it was 7th or 8th grade, 7th or 8th.
And Gaspar didn't get invited?
I think honestly, this was before Gaspar even. It had to have been like before
Seven-
Gaspar.
it would have
It
to
might
be,
have been
like,
6. It might have
sixth
been
grade
like
then.
6th grade, to be
'Cause
honest.
he said he came over in 7th.
Yeah,
I came second half of 7th grade. Yes.
Gaspar
Maybe
came.
early 7th or 6th.
Gaspar came the second half of 7th grade, and then I came every single day after that.
Correct.
That face.
Yeah.
We're going to put that on a billboard.
That's exactly how it was.
We're putting his face
Dude,
on a billboard.
I came here
It was like instant love. Like Ms. Barty's class, 7th grade. The first time I saw that handsome man, I'm like, ooh, who's this guy? And then I saw him on my bus again. I'm like, ooh, he lives right down the street from me. Me and him are gonna fuck. We're gonna fuck.
What can I say?
And we
He was
fucked.
your next victim.
Gasper likes
we
white
fucked.
people.
I like white boys.
He was my first. He was my first Hispanic. He's what started it all.
He taught me the word poppy.
He said he made me tell him that. He made me call him Poppy.
I said, "Hey, puppy." And then it was just over, And then I just, I liked the abuse. What can I say?
So after that fail in the movie theater, I apologize for that. That might have been traumatizing. Was you just at home the whole time now? After that?
I mean, shit. Honestly, I don't even remember. It was a very dark time of my childhood. I'm pretty sure I might have blacked it out.
But wait, your parents were offering to pay for everybody's ticket?
I don't remember. I don't remember that. If they were offering to pay for everybody's ticket, I think my parents were just trying. They told me I'll pay for your ticket. Just try to go invite people out and do something. And I did. And when I'm talking about inviting people out, I mean there's I'm not trying to name drop, but there was people that I had known for a long time and I had been friends with, and having that conversation with them and talking to them like say the 5 of us are here hey, would you guys want to go see a movie maybe on Friday after school, something maybe 7 o'clock or something like that? Sure. What movie? Happy Feet. Happy Feet? Cool. Yeah, let's go. I'll meet you guys there at 7. Cool. And then I show up by myself. I'm just halfway through the movie, I'm just well, this is cool.
Well, this is a pretty good movie, to be honest.
This is not the movie.
This is a top 5 movie.
But now I'm traumatized and I fucking hate that movie. That movie comes on and I just...
Nobody want to come see it with me.
I don't have any friends.
You didn't invite me. That's all I gotta say.
I blame your parents.
Honestly, I blame Will.
You didn't even invite me.
You should have been there.
You didn't invite me.
True-
You should just stick along.
A
You
real
should be
friend-
waiting outside.
a
Yeah,
real
they set
friend
him
would
up
have
for
known.
failure on that one, buddy.
A real friend would have known.
We barely talked in middle school like that.
Did you bike it to
We
the movie
talked in-
theater?
No, I'm pretty sure my parents dropped me off, so
And
they
they just
planned
saw
on...
no one out, none of your friends outside.
Was
And
it-
then,
Well,
they're
'cause-
like, hey, fuck off.
So my parents dropped me off, and so obviously I don't remember. Again, we're talking about this was 6th grade. I'm almost 30 years old. I barely remember what I fucking had for breakfast this morning. But I don't remember if my parents were okay, do you see anybody you know? Or they're just well, let me know if nobody shows up. Or I have no fucking clue what happened, because it's a bunch of parents dropping kids off at the movie theater. So it's not like my parents were expecting to see a bunch of people dropping their kid off at that exact moment. I don't know if I got there early before everybody else. I don't fucking know. All I know is I watched Happy Feet by myself, and I never saw Happy Feet 2, because fuck that movie.
What do you went to the wrong theater?
Plot twist.
You went to the one in town?
And we were all at AMC. Where the fuck were you at, Mikey? You missed it.
AMC wasn't over here back then.
No.
Mark, it's fine.
I mean, obviously, I don't remember if I had talked to anybody
I hate you, Will, bro, for real, bro.
I don't remember if I asked anybody. It was hey, did you guys? What happened? You guys didn't show up. Because at that point, I'm do you ask them? Do you go up and in 6th grade? Do you go up to all these
Hell
kids?
yeah.
I mean,
You would?
Hell yeah, I'm looking them right in the fucking eye. I didn't know
Bullshit.
you were like that. I didn't know you were fucking like that.
I'm gonna call your bluff in 6th grade. I mean, dude, and to give you a little context about me, in 6th grade, very first day of 6th grade, I was so overwhelmed by the whole process of going and getting your own lunch, the way it worked, the lunch line and sitting down at a table and then trying to find where the fuck your classroom was next, after lunch. I was so overwhelmed that I cried at my table and the lunch lady had to help me find where the fucking gym was. Right next to the fucking cafeteria, by the way. It was literally right there.
What middle school did you go to?
I went to Brooks.
Brooks? Oh, okay. So because Humphrey had the same setup too. There's a cafeteria and then right
You-
out the door.
I mean,
gym
yeah.
was right down.
Do you guys remember the free meals they used to give out?
No.
The little sandwich with the peanut butter? I used to trade some of my regular meals for that.
No, I don't.
Will was playing Pokemon cards with his
Will was
fucking
playing
Will.
fucking chess
I didn't
with
have
his
Pokemon-
food.
First
Y'all
off,
playing
I did not
checkers.
have Pokemon cards. We already
You
talked
were
about that.
playing Pokemon cards with your food.
You know we didn't have no Pokemon cards.
No, the Pokemon cards didn't come until high school. What was that? B-Wing?
Pokemon cards came. in
B-Wing
elementary
first floor?
You're talking about fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, bro.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
school. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh.
You fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, let's be honest. Does anybody here remember Digimon?
Yeah,
I
Digimon was
remember
fire.
Digimon.
Yeah,
I remember it.
There was like,
it wasn't
dude,
as big.
I fucking loved Digimon, but that shit, 100, yeah, it was not as big. It fell off. I don't remember shit about Digimon. And I also remember that the Pokemon card game is confusing as fuck, which is why Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the easiest card game to play.
Y'all didn't have the little Digimon egg,
Nah.
bro.
Probably not.
It was
Yo,
like
we weren't
it was-
rich, bro. We discussed this already on the
He's-
first podcast.
He's the oldest, so the oldest,
Oh,
the oldest got like a bunch of like
yeah.
random new shit, and then by the youngest,
Random new shit.
the youngest was
We've
just like,
discussed this already.
Discuss you being rich, yes.
yes,
The
Bro,
youngest was a
so you're
pastime.
telling me
Your parents
so you're
were
telling
living
me
for
Wait,
you.
the egg
Your
and
parents were
telling
living for
me
you, bro.
that I'm the only one that had the little Digimon egg that you would put on your belt. It was like a step. It was like a step counter, and it would count steps until you hatched the fucking egg, and you would unlock a new Digimon.
I
had
don't.
that
Oh
as-
yeah, that's
oh.
that's rich people stuff.
I
don't know what
had
you're talking
something
about.
like that, but it was for like it was a pet.
It was like
I remember the
this big, bro.
the
No, no,
Tamagotchi.
It was
the
Oh,
Tamagotchi.
okay, it was
I've
kind
had
of like
that.
that. It was kind of like that.
I've had
Digimon,
that, but I
a
haven't
Digimon
had no
version of the
Digimon.
It was
Tamagotchi.
it was like a Digimon version of the Tamagotchi. Yes.
My
I've never
Tamagotchi
even
always
heard of
died.
that, man. Never
Yeah,
heard of
no, I didn't know that was a thing. I do remember having like this little.
You feel like an asshole, bro.
Just feel like
How?
it's just
Why?
you. It's just you.
Because you guys right away.
I mean-
you were rich. I wasn't rich, bro. I really wasn't.
How did it feel like
I mean, you
having
weren't
everything you
okay,
wanted?
I wouldn't, you weren't rich or nothing, but you did have a lot of stuff.
You weren't
Yeah.
rich, but you weren't not rich.
You were
We
hood
were
rich.
middle
I
class.
mean,
Who rich?
I mean, look, for
I'll
example.
take that.
Hey, hold on. For example, let
I'll
me
let-
put it this way:
Richest kid
you
in the book.
had the internet probably when the internet first came out.
When did it first come out?
I don't know.
Dial up.
Neither do I.
Okay.
Hold
I had
up, hold
dial
up.
up.
Okay.
How many computers did you have?
One.
We
How
had-
many computers did you have?
I mean, because my mom's company technically gave her the other ones, we had 4.
And y'all
What?
me rich.
That's
Bro.
not rich. We didn't actually buy them.
Dude,
It was just my
We-
one brother got one, and then the other ones got like thrown out later on, and then she got the other ones for
no.
us.
So we shared one desktop at my house, and me and my brother both. I mean, obviously, my brother's like 4 years older than me, so he hit puberty first, obviously. But me and him eventually were both.
Time out.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break.
But what I was telling you was that so when it came to the internet, right? You may not have known when you got it and stuff like that, but I remember, for example, one of my friends had a computer, or his dad had a desktop, and he had internet access, stuff like that.
Facts. I
So-
mean, dude, honestly, I didn't realize as far as we were saying hood rich. Like my parents weren't fucking like
Not
rich.
hood rich.
We
but,
didn't
like,
we didn't have
your
money.
Both your parents worked, so it was easier to get like those, extra things.
Commodities.
Commodities, yes, but
I
like
wouldn't
internet.
But I wouldn't say we were rich.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that either.
Middle
That you were
class.
filthy rich or something, right?
No,
but it's just
but
it's just a
so
joke.
as far
But
as
what I'm
Not a
saying is
joke.
like what I experienced, was completely different because I do remember the people that had desktops, and I remember having friends with like all the newer phones and stuff, and like they all learned how to text
The sidekicks
with the
and shit like
numbers
that
and
just
stuff
ran
like
who
that
had a
shit like
sidekick
that.
at this table?
if you wanted to see or something,
too.
you would have
Fuck
to press
no.
the whatever number so many times to text, and all you guys, or a lot of people
I had a brick
that luxury.
Nextel.
That my very first phone
That
was
my
a
first
Nokia.
phone, a brick Nextel with the antenna that stretched like 3 feet out.
I would play all the time. I would ask Gaspar to borrow his phone just because,
Flip it.
to flip it and play the games. He had so many
but
fucking
that wasn't my
games.
first phone.
No, but no. What I'm not saying. I'm
Goddamn.
not saying it was your first phone.
First one
but
was a Razor.
but you
Yeah, my first
you
phone
did
was a Razor.
when those sidekicks
God
came out. You did have
damn.
the sidekick.
I did.
Wait, you didn't have a phone until the Razor?
I didn't have a phone until the Razor. The
I mean,
Motorola
I
Razor.
didn't.
I
I didn't
didn't
get a
have-
phone until 8th grade.
I didn't have a phone until I turned 18 and bought it myself.
My first phone got stolen.
Dang.
But
I had a phone stolen
Hold on.
before too.
But to go real quick, going back to the internet though, like what he was talking about. So as far as like what they were talking about, like hood rich, like again, my family wasn't rich, but there's a lot of people that I had a lot of friends that lived a lot closer to the middle school that we went to, and closer around that middle school was not as great of an area, and there was a lot of people that was friends with that when we had to print out a paper, we typed up a paper for school and we had to print it out. What did we do? We went to our desktop at our house, and we printed it at the printer at our house. What did I would say at least 50% of the kids at our school, at least 50. I could be wrong, but I'm saying there's probably close to 50% of the kids at our school had to go to the public library to type papers,
I agree
to
with
do
you.
homework, and to print it. So as far as we're saying like hood rich, we're not necessarily fucking rich.
No.
Our parents, I mean, you could look at our houses. We did not have even close to the biggest houses in our town.
Yeah.
But if you comparing us to some of the other kids that that we went to school with, a lot of them did not have a computer in their house at all.
Yeah,
or
Gaspar, it's not a bad thing,
another
bro. I'm
thing.
jealous
Oh, no,
as
no, no.
fuck. You don't know how
another
jealous
thing,
I
another
am.
thing. Another thing is the clothing. During that time, well, even now, like I wasn't even worried about. I didn't even have knowledge about what people wore, what was trending, and all that kind of stuff. But I know there's people that would, I look back at it. I'm like, when this was popular, that's what they were wearing, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Gaspar was
So-
wearing fucking just all the South Pole,
Yeah.
Echo Unlimited shit, just
Yeah.
brand new shit.
What was
right
those?
away
What were
off
those
the, off
shoes
right-
that you?
Echo
that you-
Unlimited.
That you
Come
were
on,
wearing?
Fat Farm.
Fat Farm. Yeah, I've never even.
You had
never
every
even
color?
Heard about
No,
that.
I had a couple Fat Farm, and then right after Fat Farm, Fila got
Oh,
big.
I had a pair of Fila. I had to.
Fila.
Yeah,
The
it's-
Fila
I'm
with
not
the
getting
straps?
fried. I was not getting fried at the lunch.
The Fila with the straps,
Yeah.
they got big, bro.
See, dude, in 8th grade, I had a pair of DCs that were all white, and I really wanted new ones. My parents wouldn't buy me new shoes. Like, your shoes are fine. So what I did to be like, my shoes aren't good anymore, is my mom. I had like $20. She let me buy a pack of Sharpies one day. Plot twist: I took the green and the red, and I had a green and a red DC shoe. And then my parents were like, "Well, now we have to fucking get you shoes."
Yeah,
And
you listening, Gaspar?
it ended up not
That's what we
actually
needed
working
to do.
in my
not
favor.
Ask.
You don't ask. You just fuck up
We
your
made
shoes,
'em.
and then they're like, "God damn it!" The school keeps calling me saying, "Hey, can you buy your son new fucking shoes that aren't Sharpied?" My parents did, and my gym teacher continued to yell at me. He's like, "I know you have new shoes. I saw you walking in." I was like, "Well, yeah, but I got to use my shitty shoes for gym." My parents said.
What? Wait, what school was this?
It was Brooks. I got yelled at in middle school for having
There was
two
like a
shitty.
dress code or something. for the shoes?
I got yelled at for having two shitty
Yo.
of shoes because my shoes had Sharpie on them.
Did you not have like police officers at your middle school?
My middle school.
Yeah.
No.
We were the only ones. Dude.
Really?
We were the only ones.
Yeah.
We had police officers. We had a little police officer office next to the gym, basically.
why
Be-
we
Legit
had that,
police
right?
or like security?
like legitimately police. They were they
Because
were
it was the old high school.
this city's police.
Well, that, and we also had that. What's that other one?
We had Phoenix. We had the
Phoenix.
we had
Yeah,
the
yeah,
alternative.
yeah.
Brooks.
We
Yeah,
had we had the
Phoenix and Brooks.
alternative
Phoenix,
schools.
yeah.
So like if a lot of the people, not even just in our school district, like in the surrounding school districts, got expelled, they would go to the alternative school, which was the worst placement. Let's put an alternative school in a middle school. Because that sounds like a fucking great idea. People that are like in high school that probably should have graduated 3 years ago that are still in high school
Honestly.
in this alternative school with people that are 10 years old.
Well,
Like that makes
Technically, it was
sense.
supposed to be in the high school, but
But it was no longer the high school. I mean,
Yeah.
we were there for 3 years. We were there for
I don't
we
even know if they still moved it or not.
we were there for 3 years. We moved to the high school. We were in high school for 2 years. That alternative school was in a middle school for 4 to 5 years before they moved it to the high school.
It's a long time.
It is a long time. I don't know where. I don't think it's at the high school anymore. They moved it now, but still.
I heard a lot of crazy stuff when I moved here too, bro.
Like
Like,
what?
bro, I moved
Power outages.
I moved from Melrose. I moved from Melrose here, And in Melrose, they talked a lot of mad shit about what the high schools were like and this and that. We moved here because we got into some trouble, hanging out with the wrong crowd. But when I moved here, I didn't know shit. I saw a lot of what I didn't see over there. I saw a lot of goth kids. I saw a lot of, stuff I didn't see out there. It was the randomest shit ever. Kids with fucking hair in their face, you know, highlights, a bunch of stuff that I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go with it.
I feel like our school, like if you watch like South Park, I feel like Brooks was like our middle school is like a good representation. Like South Park is a good representation of our middle school
Yes.
because you had like that good group of goth people and those emo kids, and there was a decent amount of them that all kind of hung out together. Like you really did have those group of like people that could potentially consider themselves vampires because they were fucking, there's people that you don't want to fuck with because you really don't know what they're about.
And he's right. He's right. You really, I came here and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
After Twilight, it really hit.
I don't believe in witchcraft, but these motherfuckers look like they be burning some shit and they're gonna conjure the devil and fucking haunt me in my sleep type of shit.
They light some sage on fire and call out the spirits.
But not gonna lie, there was the one girl that was a part of our friend group. It was me, you. I don't know if I can name drop, but like, there was a girl in our friend group in middle school, that like her alone. I mean, she was definitely. I feel like in middle school, wise, she was very more emo, goth kind of.
Yeah.
It was like good person to have in your friend group. So shit hit the fan. She's there.
But she,
If all these kids decide they want to bring guns in the school, she'll be that one person like, hey, these three people, they're okay. Get everyone else.
and she was legit, bro. She was cool.
100%.
To this day, I would say she's probably one of the coolest people I met in middle school.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if she continued to keep like her like mentality the way she was, if she was like that way even to this day, like shout out to her. Like she's still like if she was still the same person, probably one of the coolest people ever met.
For sure. You would agree?
No, I didn't really know that girl, to be honest.
But I'm talking about in general.
In
Or
general,
you grew up out here.
Did your middle school have like that culture break, like the way ours did with the goth and emo? I mean, I feel like when we were in middle school, that's when like the goth emo genre was really starting to hit.
And the
my,
sports.
my school felt a little bit more game bangish, almost race war at one point. Like
Which one was that?
Humphrey.
See, I feel like
Humphrey?
we had a good mixture of like everything. There was like a lot of Hispanics. There was still like a lot of more black people in the school as well. There was a random like, when we got to high school, there was a bunch of different like mini groups. I feel like our middle school was a perfect example of the way the high school was going to be by the time we got to high school.
Well, if it was the old high school, and also on top of that, think about everything that's around the area. Like Gaspar lives all the way over here, and he went to school there.
Well, that's
right?
because
But
when that
he
middle
went to school to
be-
Brooks, but look at all the property that's around Brooks Middle School too. Like it was almost a perfect mix.
Mixture,
So,
yeah.
so
Mikey went
and
there.
It was a lot bigger.
I mean,
it was
if-
the old high school.
Well, then
obviously,
So that's why they
if
would
you
have,
looked at like
more
the
diversity.
boundaries, if you looked at the boundaries when we went to middle school, if you looked at the boundaries, Brooks had the weirdest boundaries because Brooks was all the way on the far side of Bolingbrook. Brooks stretched from one side of Bolingbrook to the other. Humphrey
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
Jane,
saying.
Humphrey and
That's
Jane
why
Addams
we
were
have
like,
a lot
"This
more
is our
diversity."
area. This is our area." And then they made a new school, and they're like, "Okay, well, you get 75% of Bolingbrook. Jane Addams gets 25%.
When-
Humphrey gets another 25%. That's
You know what's weird
when
about
you-
that?
that's pretty much how it was.
My eldest brother went to Jane Addams, and my second went to Humphrey.
Well,
And then
what's really
that's because Brooks wasn't there yet.
yeah,
You
but
know what's
then
really
when Brooks was
crazy-
made, my the middle child went to Brooks with us.
Who was the middle?
My brother,
Ron.
Yeah, Ron.
Okay.
But so that's what's crazy is the fact that like so my oldest sister and my older brother, the two of them, they went to Romeoville schools. So they didn't stay here. They went to a city over to go to like elementary school, and they both graduated from high school over there. And then my sister, who was just older than me, she was the one where she only did Bolingbrook schools. She never went over to like AVM or Romeoville High School or any of that. She just stayed. She went to like the Valley View School District that we went, the same one that I went to, probably the same one that Will went to. Valley View, then Pioneer, then Brooks. She went through the same group of schools that we went through.
Yeah, me and Mikey went through the same school system.
Which is that was crazy because they out of nowhere they just cut it in half because I think it was they created because we were going to Valley View and then they created Pioneer and then all of a sudden our neighborhood started going to Pioneer and only Bolingbrook schools instead of Romeoville.
Didn't we have the same kindergarten and second grade?
My kindergarten was Miss Zeider.
No, that wasn't it.
Second grade, I don't remember who she was, but she was she was a little bit chubbier. She was a bitch. She failed me in cursive and made me cry in second. Grade. She made me cry because I failed cursive. Plot twist: go fuck yourself. We don't even fucking teach cursive anymore. I don't even remember your name.
They don't teach cursive.
They don't teach.
Cursive no more.
No.
It's been a while.
I don't even remember your name, but I hope you end up watching this for some
Who were
reason
the
and
last
remember
ones?
me. Fuck you.
They stopped teaching cursive at a certain point, though.
Yeah.
You still learn cursive?
I learned cursive, and then I never ever used it after that.
But do they signatures are still a thing though, right? I mean, that's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, but a
for
signature
the most
could
part.
be anything. Though.
It could be an X.
Well, I mean,
Legitimately.
They got,
so
like digital signatures now.
when
Yeah.
you go to buy a house, for example, you go to an office and you're signing your signature on a piece of paper. I mean, at the end of the day, the guy anytime I've ever had to sign my signature for this type of stuff, all they've told me is like, okay, so on your license it has your first, middle, last name. So I need a big bump in your cursive signature for your first name, a big bump for the middle name, and a big bump for the last name. The rest of it, I don't fucking care what it says. You could put big bump, line, big bump, line, big bump, line.
Who told
As
you
long
that?
as the fucking lawyer. He's like, as long as that first letter is an M, that second letter matches your middle name, and that last letter for the big bump matches your last name. The rest of it, signature-wise, I really don't care. And then as long as you continue to do that same signature on every single every single page, then we're good. I mean, I've had them bring it back. I'm like, hey, you forgot to put your middle initial on this one. We need you to re-sign this. Here's a new piece of paper. So, I mean, that's as far as cursive-wise. But, like, for my kid, are they going to teach them how to sign their name?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do anymore.
When's the last time you guys wrote on a piece of paper?
Today,
Today?
Today.
Today too?
I mean, with my
it was
job,
actually my signature too.
Just your signature though?
No, it was information for the workload.
I'll get you.
with my job, I'm constantly taking notes and writing them down on paper. Like
So no one's reading them, or you're just for yourself?
9 times out of 10, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
so I might have a client calling me and like, hey, I need this, this, and this. I'm like, all right, cool. What the fuck did you? I'm like, okay, what company are you with before? Okay, and what do you need? So I'm using, and on top of that, I prefer pen and paper and pencil instead of paper and pen. Like even then, I still prefer to use pencil over pen. I don't know what about just the way it looks on the paper.
It's not like you had to write in cursive though, because cursive was just supposed to be, long or short term like writing, like how you could write faster.
I don't know,
Back
man.
in the
I mean,
day.
back in the day when we were learning cursive, they made it seem like cursive was like, you have to learn cursive because everything in the future is going to be cursive. You need to learn cursive because regular English is not going to be a thing in the future.
If you
Kind of
just-
like how they're like, hey, just so what you know, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. You can't use calculators on your test because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket
But you have it
because
in
your
your phone.
phones are not going to have a fucking calculator on it. Plot twist, bitch.
But cursive was like you were writing it, and then it would be shorter because it's all flowing as one. But you don't need that.
Yes and no. I feel like half the time would make it almost harder to read because it was together.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you guys agree with it?
but that's how they did the faster
But-
writing.
I
It was
feel like
supposed to be more formal back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, so like if you read like doctor's notes and shit like that, I mean now they're starting to do more just like
I can't
regular.
read my doctor's notes.
Exactly, but now they're starting to do more print. But a lot of the times, like a lot of that shit was done in more cursive. I feel like cursive was, like he was saying, more. I feel like it was more of like a formal thing.
Yeah,
Like
it was like similar to I think it's called calligraphy.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm thinking about because
but that's
I,
a Japanese
I think they
thing.
use it a lot in Mexico. I think my mom learned it. I've had a couple of people tell me that they learned it in Mexico.
With the feather and the little
Calligraphy?
ink dip.
Dude, where like legitimately, bro, it was like a fucking loop, couple dots, a line, and that was like a sentence. Like, and I'm sitting there like, what does that say? Oh, it says, you know, I fucked your mom. Just no bullshit.
says I fucked your mom last Friday night.
I'm sure he doesn't say that.
Just,
Fuck that guy
just
forever.
an example. Just an example. Obviously,
deep-throated your
obviously it
son.
didn't say that, but it looked like nothing. It was literally like a fucking loop, a couple dots, a line, and it was like 10 words. You know, and I think I'm almost certain that they did that shit in English too, but I don't. Was it called calligraphy?
Calligraphy, yeah.
Was it? Is that what it was?
That's not cursive as well.
No,
Like
yeah, no,
writing?
it's not
I've
cursive.
never even.
I
heard
cannot
about that.
confirm
Calligraphy
or
is like
deny
the
what the fuck.
penmanship, like how you write it down. That's what calligraphy is. Like calligraphy artists, they write it so perfectly that they can frame it.
You got your phone?
I got you.
Look it up, bro.
I cannot confirm or
Look
deny
up-
what you're talking
look
about.
up what calligraphy means and or like a short
Shorthand.
yeah shorthand writing.
Shorthand
Technically,
writing
calligraphy is a visual
is
art.
artiste.
All right, so is there a word for whatever shorthand writing is?
Usually it was cursive or like nowadays.
I
it'd
don't
be like
think it's cursive, bro.
YOLO
There was
or
something
LOL.
there was something a lot more what would you call it? Compressed and then cursive.
Morse
It
code,
says here,
but
like,
written
shorthand
down.
writing was similar to what you just said, kind of. It's
With-
like an
with dots and lines?
abbreviated symbolic writing.
Yeah.
So basically like LOL and all that.
Well, LOL is those are called like
No,
acronyms, no?
Those
Yeah,
are
it
acronyms.
was.
are
Yeah,
acronyms,
it's
yeah.
he's talking
Those are
about
acronyms.
symbols.
We're talking about almost symbols, yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing that.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
didn't learn it.
This is tweaking me out. I'm
Yeah,
looking at this
but,
right
but,
now.
But maybe
It's called
just,
shorthand.
It's called shorthand.
Yeah,
called
but
shorthand.
maybe it's just sayings that we all usually say. You know, like thank you or hello
Is it similar
or
to, like-
goodbye, and maybe there's like a certain number of.
Check it out.
That don't even look like that.
Check it out. You wouldn't even be able to read it, bro.
How fast would you be able
Well,
to
I
write this shit?
don't even know what I'm looking at here.
It's like
It's
dots.
it's English, but you wouldn't even be able to read it.
It's like
They're
Morse
like-
code.
You're right. I was
Yeah,
about to
yeah,
say
there we
it's
go.
like
Morse
fucking
code,
Morse
Morse
code.
code,
It's
yeah.
dot dot dash dot
Only
dot
because
dash
we've adapted
dash.
to that certain shape of the letter.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we would be able to.
But
Now that you mention it, I
But yes.
vaguely remember this.
No, yeah. I feel like they might have hit on it when we were in school, but they stopped teaching
Yeah,
it.
they stopped.
They stopped teaching it. We learned cursive,
Yeah.
and then the generation right after us, after you, stopped learning cursive.
Yeah. Yeah.
This looks like it's cursive. Cursive.
they
Yeah,
learn
I think
more
it's like a
math.
paragraph.
Yeah, it is like a cursive. It is a cursive, but it was, I would say, almost like a code. It was like
Its own language and
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's
Over
yeah.
here writing fucking Da Vinci Code secrets, just
Right.
like a
Well-
regular letter that just says, "Hey, I love you, and I'm thinking about you."
In that case, wouldn't every single language be a code though?
I mean, I guess yeah.
Yeah, because they used Navajo as a code in one of the world wars. I think
Yeah,
it was
but-
either the first one or the second one.
Yeah, I mean you can make anything a code.
Look,
And
I would say that any words or any language, these sounds that come out of our mouth,
well,
just have the meaning that we give to them.
well, yeah, that's probably what it is with that is that there's just how we learn A through Z. Every single letter has a sound. Well, for them, it's those symbols.
Yeah.
Each symbol represents a sound too. So when they say that certain sound, you know, like he's saying H or A or.
But that's
whatever.
the thing. That didn't have a sound. That was just called shorthand. Those symbols and figures just represented.
Words,
Uh,
like
yeah,
you
they
would
represent words.
I mean, I guess essentially it would be like almost I mean, I guess reading it would be how a blind person would read Braille. They would just rub their finger over it and they
Correct.
they would
So
feel the
they didn't
dots and
actually
they would be
speak
like,
it.
this is what the word means.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
They would just look at it and be like, okay, I see this, that, and that's these symbols together make that word. So it was, I mean, obviously, it was so easy.
It would make an English sentence.
You knew it so well that you could abbreviate the English language to the point where you could just see symbols and be like, I know exactly what they're trying to say.
And my mother told me that she learned that in Mexico, because my mother actually finished high school in Mexico and the whole thing, and she told me that she learned shorthand out there. But obviously it wasn't English shorthand. It was obviously a Spanish shorthand. But it was something similar to where a couple dots meant a certain word and a line, facing 90 degrees meant a certain word and whatever.
But how did they differentiate between like there, and there? That's the real question. Or red,
you are-
red, and read.
First of all,
Like how would you?
that's
how would you?
English.
How
Yeah,
would?
'cause
But
it's-
Español.
it could be a completely
Because-
different word.
but you said there was a shorthand English. So
Well, true.
how would they differentiate there, and there?
They might not write in complete sentences.
But you know how like there's like certain words like the color red and like I just read a book. They sound exactly the same, but they're
True.
spelled a little bit different.
It's
But
different
then
in Spanish, though.
read and read are spelled the same, but they are different sounds to the word. So like I mean, just questions like with the shorthand, how did that work with the fact that the English language is very complicated and dumb as hell?
Maybe it just depends on the way that they wrote it.
They just like,
For like,
yeah. I mean that's
you know,
true. Maybe
'cause, you know,
maybe
in
they did
Spanish,
simplify all
'cause
those
in
different
Spanish,
idioms.
Sometimes, like in English, you say something, and then in Spanish, it's almost like you're saying it backwards.
Sometimes,
so
yeah.
the
Yes.
words are arranged
Yes.
differently and stuff. So maybe as an English speaker, if you do learn that way, when you read it, it makes sense because it's written in English.
This is a good question it's gonna be for you too. If you guys would go to Mexico, how fast do you think they'll figure out that you're not from Mexico?
Never been.
I already know the answer to that question.
How long you think before they're trying to have a conversation with you, and how fast do you think they figure out, yo, this guy ain't from here? I'll go first if you want me to answer that
It's the first
Go
word.
first.
right away.
As soon as you start
He-
talking, they're gonna be like,
he-
"Where the fuck you
Soon
from?"
as- soon as-
That's
He
because that was your
is-
experience.
100% correct. Because no matter what you do not look like them. You're not from around there. I don't know if it was like my full beard, but anytime before I said a word, they would tell me, "De dónde eres, primo?" Meaning, where are you from, cuz? And I would tell them, "Oh, I'm from around the Chicagoland area." "Yeah, you don't look from around here." Automatically. And a lot of people out there,
You look
I don't
like
know
a
why.
bitch.
I don't know if it's just not the style yet there, but a lot of dudes don't got a full beard. I would go out early in the morning, bro, probably like 65, 70 degrees outside. I would go out for a walk from my grandma's house. Dudes are wearing winter jackets. I'm out there wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
It's fucking like 80 degrees outside. They're like, "Oh my god, it's muy frío."
I'm out there wearing shorts and a t-shirt or a dago, and they're looking at me like, this man is crazy. They're looking at me like I'm insane.
Bro, they should fucking see us when it's fucking winter time and us white boys are out there at the fucking bus stop in a fucking winter jacket and basketball shorts.
I was wearing a hoodie.
Tell-
You said you've never
even
been to
worse.
Mexico?
I've never been to Mexico.
No, that's crazy.
All I need to do is get my passport, and I can literally go to Mexico. whenever
You
I
could
want.
literally go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably do that. It's good. But you'll see, though.
I
You'll
really
figure
do
it out
want
right
to.
away. There's levels of Spanish
Oh yeah, dude.
right
Yeah,
away.
hell yeah.
Let's say they don't notice that I'm not from there by the way I'm dressing. But as soon as they ask me a question and I start, I feel like they could see me constructing the sentence in Spanish in my head.
He's from
They're like,
America.
Desde way donde es. Desde way que pedo.
You're looking like Zach Galifianakis
Yeah.
when he's doing the
trying to read
21.
cards,
Yeah.
He's play poker.
Like, ¿dónde está tu tío?
Yeah, and they'll say it right away. Is like you have an accent, and not necessarily the like let's say like for different people like the way you sound, but the way you're constructing the sentence. Like I guess they could consider that like form of accent, and they could tell like almost right away, yo, this guy's struggling. He's not.
You're
from here.
almost trying to do it as like, I mean, technically, I mean, I'm sure like your Spanish is probably not like super 100% like the formal.
No,
If I was
speak
trying to,
so formal, like,
But, like, if-
polite, I should say how I speak.
But
I'm
if-
like extremely polite, but I'm like it's like not almost realistic how polite I am.
but if,
That-
if I were to learn Spanish from like Babbel or any of those fucking apps or type of
Duo.
shit,
it
that-
depends if you're
that-
learning.
but like, but that Spanish that I would learn
You're
compared,
learning
like,
Castellano.
you're still
so
You're
this,
learning Castellano.
you got
So-
that voz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly, it'd be Spanish. So the Spanish that I would learn from any of those apps compared to your Spanish would like you guys would be like, okay, he definitely is not a native Spanish speaker. 100%, you would know right away. It's similar to you guys going to Mexico and them being like, okay, so from someone I'm just asking as a personal question, like someone from Mexico, they'd be like, okay, yeah, they're definitely Mexican, but they are from America. But then obviously for me, they'd be like, okay, that person learns, like they're definitely 100% not native. They learned it from an app kind of thing. Like, would it be easy?
I think it
would,
could be a mix.
would
I
they
think it could
would they be able to
mixed.
tell in Mexico when someone is speaking Spanish, like, okay, you are from America, but you're Mexican or you're Hispanic of some type of some sort or whatever, but you're from America, or versus like, okay, you're 100%, you're definitely from America. You don't know Spanish. You learned it from an app type of shit.
I mean, I would like to consider myself someone that speaks Spanish pretty okay. And anywhere that I stopped to buy anything, a hat, a shirt, they right away, where you from? And I was like, what do you mean? They would right away. You're from the States. Where you from? Cali? You from LA? And that's when I'm from the Chicagoland area.
Yeah, but there is like you're asking if like let's say a person from Spain goes to Mexico and they start speaking Spanish, are they gonna know? Yo, his Spanish is good, but it's not from Mexico.
Yeah, they're
it's
not gonna know.
Mexico
They're not gonna
Spanish.
know.
So
that
they're not. They're gonna know like either two things. Like one, you're either from Spain, or two, like maybe you are from America, but you learned it from. You don't know like Spanish. You know super
They-
formal.
They talk different. It's called what you say?
Castellano?
Castellano. So it's like a different. It's almost like a different language in a way.
It's
It's
like
like
learning-
Spanish is like
yeah.
a mixture of that a little bit.
Would you say it's like learning English from England?
So
Yes.
you see how they have different
Yes.
slang too in England, mate.
So England,
Lad, we're from the trenches.
so England English to American English is similar. In a sense, you're saying it's similar to like Spain Spanish to like Mexico or South America Spanish.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
And for sure, like when you go like back to South America, I think Brazil is like the only country
Portuguese.
that speaks like their main language is Portuguese. You could kind of tell like the accents; they start blending in a little bit more, but you could still tell like the difference a little bit. Same thing when you go from, and it's hard to distinguish from when you go to Mexico to Guatemala to Nicaragua and Costa Rica. Like you could start seeing there's certain accents at that point too, where you could kind of distinguish.
I mean,
it's the slang more than anything.
Hey,
I mean,
correct.
obviously, I know I showed you guys all. Obviously, the people on the viewers on the podcast won't understand. There's a very racist video that I showed these guys. That was like it showed a bunch of different countries. It would change the country, and it was just them speaking Spanish technically. It was like, "Hey, you're Mexican." People from Brazil. "Hey, you're Mexican." People from Peru. "Hey, you're Mexican." So obviously, as a white person, obviously, I can't differentiate between the different forms of Spanish. And growing up, I feel like there was definitely some people that were like kind of mad at me. They're like, "I'm not fucking Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican." I'm like, dude, look, I understand that you're speaking Spanish as a Puerto Rican versus speaking Spanish as a Mexican. That you guys can tell it instantly apart. But as a white person, I hate to make it sound rude, but like we're just so fucking ignorant to the fact that like it's just Spanish to us. I don't understand any of it. Then I'm just like I can't tell that different
Yeah,
accents.
I get you, but you understand, right? Because there's that if someone from Ireland came here and he's speaking English, you're gonna be like, "Yo,
Conor
where
McGregor.
the fuck are you at? Where the fuck are you from?" Like,
Exactly.
You're gonna tell. That's
So-
similar to the situation when it comes to
I mean,
Spanish.
even America alone, the different portions of America, we all speak English.
South.
You know, the South speak English.
I could tell the way you're smiling right now, Will. I know you got something to say, bro. Say something. Say it right now.
Say it.
Say what?
Say what you're fucking feeling right now
you
about
gotta
the
say?
South.
I don't got nothing to say
How
about
they were
the South.
dominant. You remember?
But
yes,
like,
They're
but like
dominant. What?
throughout our country, America.
I plead the fifth on everything you're even saying. Ain't, no one's taking me down with them.
No.
Nobody.
All right,
you're
good
right
answer.
though. 100% throughout our country,
So like
English is spoken differently everywhere.
as an English speaker, I mean, again, I'm just curious, like from someone from Mexico that doesn't know any English at all, if they hear everybody in America speak English from different portions of the country, South, Midwest, fucking New York, California, you know, they get all those different accents. To them, is all those different people speaking English is similar? Is that similar to me with like the different countries speaking Spanish? I know they have different accents. I know it's easier for you to tell. Like for me, I can be like, oh, that person's from South. They're from the South. But from someone from like a Spanish-speaking country where they don't understand any English that's being said, the different accents that they're hearing. Would they be able to differentiate? Oh, like, oh, that person's from the South, or in general,
Being from the South.
is it just like they just hear English and they're like, I have no idea what you're saying to
Being
me?
from the South would be the same as like in Mexico, in like the different parts of their country as well.
I think
It,
so.
it wouldn't be like
Well,
I think
different-
since they don't know nothing, they would not be able to distinguish.
it would be similar to me, like if I heard someone from like Mexico or Peru or Venezuela,
Correct.
or any of those other different countries in South America. Like I hear all them speaking Spanish. You know, I feel like for me personally, I might have gotten a little bit better to the point. Like, oh, you might not be like Mexican, you might be different country, but in general, I'm still like, I don't. It's all Spanish to me.
Yeah, well,
But
to
you
be
know
hon-
they're speaking Spanish though.
I mean, for the most part, like I feel like Spanish is it's for the most. It's very easy to know Spanish. I mean, I guess I don't know the difference between Spanish and Portuguese and how different it is. I know Italian is very similar, but I feel like Italian, I can tell. I'm like, okay, that's an Italian. That sounds Italian.
Yeah, but
It's-
even myself, I like. Let's say you bring people from like South America here, like they could be Peruvian, from Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina, or Chile, or whatever, and they start speaking Spanish, and you're trying to tell me, yo, which person is from what country? I myself cannot tell you that.
You wouldn't. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell exactly what country, but you would know right away. You're not from Mexico.
That's one of the
It's-
things.
For sure.
It's
I
like
can
some
almost
some people
guarantee
are better
you
at that shit.
And then even when you're in Mexico, like people from Mexico could start telling the accents from other parts of Mexico.
Yeah, it's like a different slang.
They're like, oh shit, you're so within the country of Mexico alone, it would be similar to like if I'm in a popular tourist area and I hear someone talking, I'm like, oh shit, you're from the South, aren't you? Or you're from New York or whatever.
like if you're in Chicago, if you're like,
Correct.
oh, you're from Los
or the
Angeles.
Boston accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
Like,
can't
you can-
find my
and just like we
Correct.
do that with like we start imitating another
khaki.
person's accent.
Mexico does the same thing.
Mexicans do that too.
I also heard, as far as like racism, like Mexico and like South American countries are also still very racist. Which is why like 9 times out of 10, most of the people you see on TV are more like the light skin,
We're talking about telenovelas.
or just like the news channels in general. Like on
Yeah, they're getting
on.
Spain.
Yeah.
They're getting Spain
Telenovelas
girls.
might be
Yeah, yeah,
100.
They're getting
yeah.
Spain
Well,
girls.
because I know
Yeah.
I know some of the telenovelas. My ex, her mom used to watch a lot of telenovelas, and I know it got to the point where I'm watching some of them. I'm like, look, I don't know Spanish, but I can tell you right now that person is not saying whatever words is actually being spoken. And I started to Google it, and I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the telenovelas are more of like
Turkish?
Turkish and
Yeah.
Middle Eastern. Like I would say probably 75% of them are Turkish and Middle Eastern. But
Yeah, and you can't distinguish it because you can't really follow the mouth.
the only
Yeah.
reason I could tell is because I've seen enough like shows where it's like maybe like I've watched it like Money Heist. You know, I've watched enough shows
Ooh,
on
Casa de Papel.
I
Tokyo,
mean,
that's my
I'm
girl, bro.
dude, Tokyo's
Tokyo, oh my fucking
Love you.
goodness. Y'all fucking slept on it. The wave already passed. Don't even look at the show.
I mean, it's too late now.
It's a good show.
the show?
If you have not watched
on
Money
Netflix.
Heist already, you do not deserve to be able to watch it anymore. Like it's past.
Yeah.
But in general, like watching,
Fuck off, Gaspar. You're
Whoa.
about to say something.
you got a little ass dick.
There's a lot of shows that are more than past. For 000.
Fire.
I
fire.
want to say it's one of the best shows I've
Wait,
seen in the
hold on.
last 3 years.
But I heard the budget on that shit was like
Wait,
300 million or some shit for that show.
where can I find this show?
Prime, but it's don't
Amazon
look at it.
Prime?
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's past.
But hold on, going back to
Watch it.
Oh yeah, go
I'm
back
zero,
to
zero,
the
zero.
novelas.
Everybody
The
should watch it.
novelas.
I'm guessing
The
it sounds
novelas.
good. But okay, but like so like for me, I could tell watching the telenovelas with my ex's mom. Like when it was on, I could look at them because because I've watched a lot of shows like the Money Heist and different shows that were it was not filmed in English, but I watch it in English. So I watch the English like version. So they're talking and I can hear it in English. But you can look at them and I know 100% they're not speaking English. It was like the same thing. I'm like, I don't know that much Spanish, but I know enough to know that that person was not speaking Spanish. I mean, obviously, that like watching a lot of them, and that's where it got to the point where me and my ex's little sister started Googling all the shows that her mom would watch and be like, okay, so where is this one from? Turkey.
A
Like,
lot of like I think Telemundo is the one that gets like a lot of the Turkish shows, and then they get them dubbed.
Really?
Yeah, well, my parents were watching one, I remember, and I was like, these guys really aren't. They're not speaking Spanish. What the hell is going on here? He's like,
know.
Oh, it's from Turkey. He wouldn't say that, but like,
I know it's hard because you look at it and you're just I'm just looking at them like, I mean, they don't look Hispanic. First of all, like the character, like the actors don't look Hispanic at all. I'm like, they know Spanish,
oh my
really?
God, they look beautiful though. All those the Turks.
Even the ones that are actually Mexican telenovelas, they tend to get lighter skinned actors. They do.
But
I haven't got a role yet.
but that's but that's what I'm saying as far as like obviously like we live in America and progressiveness and the racism is obviously a big thing within our culture. But obviously, I used to work like at various different park districts, and with my ex being Hispanic, obviously growing up, most of my friends being Hispanic, I feel like 9 times out of 10, most of the park district I worked at, the people that I related to the quickest and I talked to the most were the Hispanic people. And that was one of the things that like anytime you would bring up racism to them, they would always talk to me about like Mexico and like, you guys talk about how you guys are so racist and obviously like, have you watched any of our shows? Like that's one of the things that like I feel like I've heard the most of. Have you watched any of our shows? Have you watched our news channels? That's why have you ever seen a dark-skinned Hispanic? Did you know that we have a lot of people in Mexico that are very, very dark and look almost black? Obviously growing up in America, we're very ignorant to anything that's not America. So for me, I'm like, wait, there's people in just the country south to us that are white, look like us, darker, that look like what we consider, us Americans consider Mexican, and then it's very dark that look almost possibly considered black, but speak 100% Spanish because they're Mexican.
That's good. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I feel there's racism literally everywhere.
There is.
Unfortunately.
Oh, I mean, obviously that is, as I've gotten older, I think that is one thing that I've realized is that, our country, history-wise, a lot of other countries outside of America learn about worldwide history, the whole earth history. In America, we learn about our history. What happened in, Africa and Egypt and all that. Who fucking cares? America. That was the history that we learned here. So for us, we're very ignorant to a lot of that. And I think that's one thing that, definitely needs to be said is that now that I've, especially, I was married to a Hispanic woman. I lived that culture, and I've seen a whole different life than what I grew up with. So I feel like that, for me, I've seen a different version of America than the America that I grew up with. I feel like that's definitely, that's what I'm trying to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you earned the right for us to take you to Mexico, Mikey, for sure.
I mean, I've been asking since I married a Hispanic woman. I was like, can I go to Mexico now? When are we going? I had been told many times we're gonna go to Mexico. I've been told many times by relatives we're gonna get you so drunk when you come down here.
Don't wear that jersey.
You know what? Wear the jersey. Topic of conversation for them. They love that
Honestly,
shit.
I will wear a Mexico. I'll wear whatever you guys fucking put on me. I don't give a fuck. You tell me I had to
Whatever
be.
we take off you mean?
I too. That too. Hey, I mean, I know there's a certain part of Mexico that
That what?
that's all
What?
that needs to be said.
All right, that's where Gaspar lives. All right.
I actually live here.
Wow.
I don't know what they're talking.
Wow.
You just go visit
There's-
down there. That's your street that you
Does-
visit on.
Do they know English very well? Are they going to translate and send this down to down there?
They
We'll send her a link.
they might send it down there,
We'll send
but
some
I would say I probably only have a couple cousins that probably know English.
I don't condone this. It wasn't me.
You know.
I mean, but hey, you have my information.
I would say that
You know my information.
you guys don't know as much as y'all think you know. Because I didn't.
Like what?
See, like I said, I feel like I am in a place where I feel like as a white person growing up in the place that I did, I grew up in a very diverse town. You know, I feel like white people were probably more considered the minorities in the town that I grew up in. I would say it was probably almost like a 50-50 split, Hispanic, black, and then there's a very like less than 1%, maybe 1% Asian, and then there was maybe 25% white in our high school. I grew up in an area that was very I didn't live this lifestyle that a lot of more other, I guess, considered races white people lived, and then I had a Hispanic wife, so I've lived a very diverse life. So I've seen a lot of more culture than a lot of other people that walk my skin color have seen. So I feel like that's why I see things a little bit differently. So like as far as I understand there's a lot that I do not know because my eyes have been opened a lot since I was married because I did see this culture. I did see when we had a president what happened in the first 2 years. But then what happened in the the following 2 years was a little bit different. I saw a huge change in the world, differently than maybe a lot of other white people would have seen because they didn't see the other side of it that I saw. If any of that made sense to anybody.
And you're right. I mean, I grew up here. I mean, I grew up to a certain point somewhere else where it was a bunch of Hispanics. But when I did move here, I feel like it was a little bit of a shock. I got here and it was like, oh shit. What's going on here? I was under the impression, I'm moving into a good neighborhood, this and this and that. First day of school, I literally watched a young man throw a young woman over a lunch table, pulling her by her hair. And I said,
Equality? You screamed out
"Holy
equality?
shit. Yo, that was
Equal rights equals equal fights.
that was equal rights before they pushed equal rights.
Oh.
He
And
was very,
That was a
very,
no-no.
very progressive for
That was
his
a
time.
no-no.
he was progressive. He was progressive. He was progressive.
Equal rights equals lefts? What's the hell?
Equal rights equals equal fights.
Oh, equal fight.
That had me like, I thought we moved somewhere nicer. Because legitimately, first day of school was middle of 7th grade. I was in the office. They were like, "Do you just want to stay the rest of the day?" They got this random ass like super nerdy white boy. Like, yo, show Gaspar around. Okay, I guess I'll stay the rest of the day.
Can we name drop him?
I don't know his last name. His first name was Scott.
Scott Harris.
Teachers.
I don't
I don't remember.
I don't remember
That's not a real-
I don't remember a single
I don't
Scott
remember
from
that.
middle
Scott.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Scott.
You're fucking lucky, Scott, because I would name drop you right now if I remembered who you were.
Shout
I
out
don't
to
remember
Scott.
But he was cool. He was one of them guys, stay out of trouble. But I kid you not, my first day in the Brooks lunch table.
Lunchroom.
Yeah, the lunchroom. Literally, I was sitting here. Let's say this was my table. The table right there. I just see a guy grab a girl from her hair, toss her over toss her over that lunch table and start whooping her ass. And I said, in my head, I was like, where did we move? I thought it was supposed to be better.
That was just foreplay. That was just foreplay.
Low key. Afterwards, they had like an intense fucking fuck session after that. Probably. I mean, let's be honest. In our middle school, people were probably fucking by sixth grade. I had no idea what a fucking vagina was until like probably like 17 years old. That's. I
I
mean,
still don't know what it is.
that's a lie, but I'm gonna pretend.
Bro. But it was rough for me. Like, you know,
Dude, honestly, I feel like I was so desensitized because people would like when I got as I would say probably 23, 24. People would talk about Bolingbrook about how awful it was. I'm like, really? I used to walk around in these areas that people would consider like the bad areas. I used to bike around in areas that people considered the bad areas. Even when I lost my bike, when someone from my high school stole my bike because they went to like I was like, dude, there was probably 100 bikes in the bike rack, and I threw my bike in. I was like, there's a shit ton of bikes. I don't have a fucking bike lock. Who's gonna go and fucking find my bike? Somebody went through every single bike, found the one bike that didn't have a bike lock, mine, and took that shit and dipped with it. And I mean, but even after all that, like I feel like I was so desensitized that like people talked about how bad Bolingbrook was and how bad our school system was. I mean, I go back and I look at it. Like, if you look, we were rated like a 3 out of 10. Like the fact that I graduated high school, the fact that I even have a job seems kind of amazing by the high school that I went to because I feel like nobody that we graduated with did anything with their lives. And I'm sorry if any of you were watching that did do anything with their lives, but I feel like there was like maybe like 1% of you.
what was
In our
what
graduating
was our
class?
slogan?
Dude, I remember
What was our slogan? Do you remember it?
senior year, Downers Grove South came to our homecoming game wearing T-shirts saying, Bolingbrook, take a stab at education."
Ooh, that's
I
not the
remember
one
the-
I remember.
I remember. I'm saying, no, I don't think that was that wasn't our slogan, but that was Downers Grove slogan for
Right on
us,
the money.
and that was our senior year.
Right on the money.
we
boys.
had like 3 stabbings by our homecoming game, and
That's crazy.
and at our homecoming game, when these Downers Grove South kids were wearing that shirt, Bolingbrook, take a stab at education. A Bolingbrook kid got stabbed at that homecoming game at the playground right across the street. And I got stabbed with a screwdriver in the neck. In his default, like he was warned, "I'm gonna stab you if you meet me at the playground." And the dude met him at the playground and got stabbed. The dude fucking told, "I'm gonna stab you," and he said, "Yeah, bet. I'm gonna take that bet." Yeah, well,
I bet
let me tell
can't
you,
stab me.
he's not a gambling man because he lost that fucking bet.
Our,
But
our slogan was, "If there has to be a best, why can't it be us?" That was our slogan.
We're the
why
best at
can't it be
stabbings.
us?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when Plainfield East first became a school and they put signs all over Bolingbrook saying, "Hey, come to Plainfield. We're the best school in Bolingbrook." Because like there was like maybe like 5% of our neighborhood. The neighborhood like two blocks behind us and across the street from where we lived at.
Plainfield School is right here.
They went to Plainfield East, and it's Bolingbrook School District. It's Bolingbrook, like the village of Bolingbrook, but it's Plainfield School Districts. So Plainfield went out and had a fucking slogan, and I remember being brought in. Do you remember this fucking the fucking assembly that like the principal brought us in, and he was talking about how we have. We were in a school district. We were in the same conference with schools like Joliet, like schools that were considered in areas that were more ghetto than Bolingbrook. They were considered more ghetto. We had more security guards than anybody in our conference combined. Like our entire conference combined, we had more security guards. The entire conference combined, we had more police officers at our school. I mean, and then he went on to go, and our principal went on to go and talk about how upset he was that Plainfield had been putting signs up saying, "Come to Plainfield. We're the best schools in Bolingbrook in the village of Bolingbrook," or whatever like that.
I never felt unsafe.
Middle school though.
This
Well,
is high
we're
school.
talking about high school now. I mean, no. I mean,
I never felt unsafe.
But
Let me say that.
what were the numbers in Bolingbrook though, in terms of
like
students?
so there's like this there's this website or whatever you can go to. It's called like greatschools.org or whatever it is. you can search like a school and a school district. You can search a bunch of shit on there, but it will give you like a rating out of 10. For example, like I don't know what Downers Grove North is now to this day, but like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were still for a solid 10 years. I would say them and most neighborhood schools were like 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, rated as like a great school. And when they're with these ratings are considering like helping you as far as like from as freshman year to senior year, your preparedness for college. You know, for us, I feel like we didn't have electives until what, junior year. We weren't allowed to have an elective. So if you say you were really into cooking, maybe you wanted to do like cooking or maybe welding, you couldn't really make that decision until junior year if you were lucky. And then senior year wasn't until a senior year that our school actually forced you, hey, you need some type of an elective because you need to know what you want to do when you go to college.
Did we have welding?
We had
Wilco.
Wilco.
Wilco had welding. Yeah.
They had
We
like,
didn't have
Loki, I
welding.
was
We-
at Wilco
Yeah, with him.
with Will.
Okay,
we were in Wilco
but
together.
our school didn't have welding.
No, our school did not have welding. There was a bunch of different random programs that were offered through like the secondary program through it was called Wilco. It was like a long portion of the day, I thought, right?
Three periods.
Three periods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
was
Wilco was through JJC, right?
I'm pretty sure
You
there
get
was some
credits.
some
You
classes.
get credits for
yeah.
JJC. Yeah.
but so a lot of other
Shout out.
schools outside of like our county, like Will County,
Yeah.
like DuPage County alone is a very good example of one that like a lot of the stuff that they're doing, they're preparing their students for the future and for college. But at the same time, if you look at it, these schools that are rated 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 are too intense and too much extracurriculars and too much pressure on their students to the point where if you look at their suicide rate for kids is fucking ridiculous. But if you look at Boeing, like the schools that we went to, we're so low. Like our suicide rate as far as like because of academics wise was probably at like a 0%. I don't think there was any kid that was
Shout out.
there was probably no kid that was too stressed on how our academic wise we were. But
Incarceration rate. What about that one?
I mean, I would say most of the people that ended up dying, and with with our year that we graduated, most people that ended up dying was overdose. So that was the difference.
Some fun facts.
When we were too low to the point
What are
where
we, Naperville?
we were overdosing.
Naperville.
We were overdosing. Naperville was purposely killing themselves. Naperville was like, this shit is too rough. We were like, this shit's too rough. Let's do some drugs until we die.
Tell me
Yeah.
why I still want my kids to go to Naperville schools.
I mean,
Me too.
my kids currently go. My oldest currently goes to the same kindergarten that I went to for elementary school. He goes to Pioneer. So he loves it. I mean, he has such a great time. I am a firm believer that it doesn't necessarily like the school district where we live is not necessarily the greatest, but he alone wants to learn. So I feel like we have the opportunities. His teacher is amazing. I feel like there are teachers out there within our school district that are amazing and willing to teach and learn and help grow the children. And I feel like our district is getting better slowly.
For sure. Dude, where I went to school in Melrose, when I'm telling you that we were garbage at math. Like I think we were at that point, how they talked about it here. We're like, the government's gonna take over if you guys don't get your grades up and this and this and that. We were at that level out there. I had 3 classes that had to do with math. All right? They got rid of music. They got rid of a couple classes.
They said,
because
you want to be creative? You
we-
want to learn math.
Exactly. We were so garbage at math that they said, the usual
No
the
creativity.
usual computer class that you guys get, it's gonna be a computer course for math. You guys have regular math, and then me, I had an after school math.
And after school, man.
Yes, I had to stay after school for math. because apparently I wasn't that great at it.
You had a
You couldn't say
remedial
what
math?
one plus
I
one
do
was?
remember you talking before. I remember you talking before. Like again, obviously this is us in high school. I remember you talking before about how like I was not the best in English and like social studies, whatever. Like I hated those types of classes, but
What's 2
you
plus 2 then?
seemed to like excel in those classes.
I did.
But for me, fucking math was like I didn't do homework. You know, I would just show up and like test time, cool. I could pass the test because for me, the math, like the algebra and all that shit, you know, that was easy fucking math for me. I'm like, I could fucking do that shit in my sleep. You know, that shit was easy. But yeah, that was, you know, just what you were saying. Like, sorry, you were not necessarily as great as math, but I was like, food, I fucking couldn't do English and social studies in my life. And you'd be like, dude, those are the easiest fucking classes in my life. Those are the easiest classes I fucking have. I remember having that discussion with you when we were younger. There was a fucking obviously again that goes back to like you growing up in Melrose Park and fucking having terrible math, and apparently I had maybe a decent math teacher somewhere. I mean, then again, I don't know if you remember fourth grade. No, was it? You might have both been. In, actually, I think it was Brooks. It was like fucking our seventh grade math teacher taught us how to balance checkbooks.
Who we talking about?
I think it was the one that you said ended up being a possible porn star.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember. There was a kid that we went to. His name was Anthony, but his dad dated the math teacher at one point in time, and I believe she lived in the neighborhood behind us. She was fine.
I don't know anything.
But no, she was fucking. Oh, I remember probably she was. I was always good at math, but she made me love math even more. But it's probably because she was so beautiful. But I just want to say, you know, again, we started this by talking about Mother's Day, and we got a little off topic. I just want to kind of bring this back home. You know, a little shout out. If you guys feel comfortable, I'd like to do a little quick shout out to my mom. Again, I appreciate you for everything that you've done. Thank you for letting my dad nut inside you so that I could be born. This is amazing. You know, it's been a rough life, but it's been a great life at the same time. I'm thankful for you and everything that you've done for me. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my mom. You're amazing. Thank you for 29 and almost 30 years in my life. You've been the best person I've ever known.
Yeah, touche too to my mother. Exactly what Michael said.
Thank you for being nut inside.
Thank you. Shout out Martin.
Shout out to all the women that have been nutted inside of them.
Crazy part about yogas is his mother and his father have the same name.
No, they don't. What do you mean?
Martin and Marta.
How is that the same name?
That's the same name, but the female version.
I don't
Martin,
know.
Marta.
Is that like Michael and Michelle?
I think so.
What do you think, Jesse? You're the tiebreaker. I mean, obviously, of course, yoga.
I like it though.
I got made fun of, so I don't like it.
Why'd you get made fun of?
I know we were in
Jesse?
middle school, and I think we were going around, and everyone was like giving out their parents' name, and then I got to me, and I just Martin y Marta, and they were like, ah!
Because they're the same.
I don't know. I guess they're similar. Everyone started laughing. I got made fun of. That fucking whole class, that whole math class, Miss Cypress math class.
Hey, I just want to say, everyone in that math class, go fuck yourself. This dude is an amazing man.
They weren't
Fuck
laughing
you.
at me. They're laughing at the names.
Yeah, well, fuck you still. His parents are amazing too, because they breed an amazing man. Fuck you.
I agree.
But we love you if you're watching us.
Very emotional.
I also love my mother. I don't know if I should say it in Spanish so she could understand.
Do it.
Right,
100%. 100%.
Yo amo a mi madre.
Oh, okay. Well,
Nadie,
Spanish is that from?
yo, hey, nadie se compara a la mujer que ella ha sido. Lo que me ha enseñado y la mujer que sigue siendo. No, siento que nadie va nunca a compararse a mi madre. Y no quiero llegar al momento que la vaya a extrañar, porque va a ser lo peor que pase en mi vida. Y No tenemos muchos episodios, pero este le dedico a mi mamá.
I don't.
But yes,
I
we
mean,
would get robbed as soon as we land in Mexico if we speak that kind of Spanish. Though
You're right.
we'd get fucking. These guys
So-
are not from here. Let's rob these motherfuckers.
I don't know.
They start with that watch.
Let's kidnap these motherfuckers right now. These guys are not from here.
He's
So-
not wrong.
Hey, y tú, Will?
What's up with you? What you guys say to your
En
mom?
español.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out. Also, I obviously to everyone's moms here. I don't know everybody's moms, but these are my best friends here, and you got all of your moms have birthed amazing human beings. So I'm thankful for your mom. Thankful for your mom, Will. Thankful for your mom, Yogurt. Thankful for your mom, Jesse. I'm thankful for all 4 of your moms and my mom because if it wasn't for any of them, we wouldn't be here today. I'm so thankful that we're able to be here. You guys are all awesome. Gaspar's mom has been so amazing to me my whole life as well, so I want to give a shout out to her as well. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Can we just bring up the fact that you just almost called him Josie?
Hey man, sometimes my brain thinks too fast and my mouth can't keep up.
True.
Well,
Facts, no
Yeah.
printer.
What's up with you, Will?
With my mom,
Yeah.
Shout out.
I mean, there's like at least an hour to a day's worth of things that I could say. But if I had to sum it up, maybe, I mean, she's always been there through rough times and all that. I guess also like when one of my aunts died not long ago, like 6 years, maybe 5, 6 years ago. She was like my second mom too, and she was always there. I mean, there's not much else you really could put into words for what my mom does.
We love you.
Beautiful.
We love you,
Good.
Mama Varney.
You got anything to say?
Her name is Mary.
I just
We
said
love
what
you,
Mikey
Mary.
said.
shout out Mary.
Dijo Mikey.
Miguel, dije Miguel. Lo que dijo
Lo que
Miguel,
dijo
igual
Miguel.
lo que dijo Miguel. All right, guys.
No, I mean, shout out to all the mothers out there. From what I'm hearing is that all of us were blessed with a very, amazing mother. Yo también.
See,
100%. Facts, no printer.
FAX.
Tell her.
FAX.
See?
Tell your mom how much you love her.
tell her what's in your heart.
Pues yo la quiero mucho y I was very blessed. Estuve muy blessado.
Blessitation.
Blessitation.
Afortunado.
Muy afortunado.
Sí.
Gracias. De haber vivido.
Muchas gracias para tu madres. Thank you for your
Very
mother as well,
fortunate.
Will.
Very fortunate. Muy afortunado.
Yes, I agree.
We love you too, Mr. Labra.
De que
Yeah.
Teresa
100%.
fue mi mamá.
Gracias. Gracias
bless.
para Jesse.
Yeah.
God bless. That's a wrap, fellas.